Alright, so this time we're going to be looking at the comparison between the HiFiMAN DEVAs and my tried and true Sennheiser HD600. So, one important thing to note here before we begin, the HD600s used in this video are the original model, not the 2019 revision, and you can tell because it is made with that quail egg marble countertop finish as opposed to the newest revision, which is more of a kind of a light gray kind of sidewalk kind of color, you know, beautiful. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So as far as the contents are concerned, the DEVAs are special since they are not only a wired headphone, but a wireless Bluetooth headphone as well. Therefore, the DEVAs obviously will come with the headphones themselves. They come with a 3.5mm tip ring sleeve to tip ring sleeve single-ended cable, a 1/4" adapter, a USB-A to USB-C cable, the Bluemini Bluetooth adapter that enables wireless connectivity, which is the one that you see right here, and the owner's guide. Now on the flip side, the HD600 come with a more standard offering, which are the headphones themselves, the long dual 2-pin to 3.5mm tip ring sleeve cable, a 1/4" tip ring sleeve adapter, as you can see right here. There's a difference, size doesn't matter. A beautiful box that works as an amazing display box, which I don't think I'll be able to. No, I won't be able to, but it is beautiful. And last of all, the owner's guide. So let's jump into the build quality here. As far as the build is concerned, the HD600s take the cake by far. Now they are mostly plastic, but are very robust and durable type of plastic. They don't really feel like they're gonna break at all. You can tell these things they're built to last. The only parts of this headphone that are metal are the grills themselves and the parts that connect the headband to the cups, and well, obviously the drivers themselves are neodymium drivers, so metal. Now the DEVAs, on the other hand, are kind of a mixed bag. The only metallic parts featured in this headphone are the yokes. Everything else is pretty much plastic, although it is a pretty robust plastic as well. Generally speaking, however, the HD600s feel far better built than the HiFiMAN DEVAs. Now for the tech side of things, this one actually has quite a bit of difference here. So the HD600s are your traditional dynamic driver. It has a cable. It connects to pretty much any type of amplifier, and that's it. That's as technical as it gets. It's a classic standard headphone. Yeah, hard to drive, so it does require an amplifier, but I mean, I'm sure you knew that. Now the DEVAs, on the flip side, are a whole nother story. They are planar magnetic drivers, which means you are better off running them off of a solid state amplifier, because compatibility with some tube amps may be a bit iffy. And they also feature the Bluemini Bluetooth adapter, which allows you to use them wirelessly. You can also use the provided USB cable to charge the Bluemini, or use the DEVAs as a USB-powered headphone, utilizing the Bluemini as a makeshift DAC. Wow, that was okay. Now let's jump into the sound quality here. So the following results were obtained running both headphones wired through single-ended. The DEVA's Bluemini was not utilized for the sound comparison whatsoever. It's pretty much just here for display purposes to show you that these are in fact wired and this is what they look like. I mean, sorry, wireless. They can be wired. Anyways, as far as bass is concerned, bass guitars are more forward on the DEVAs than on the HD600s. Their timbre is thicker, and they sound like they have more substance to them. They also have more of a growl to them as well. Think of baking a cake here. The HD600 is a cake baked with perfect measurements. Now the DEVAs use a bit too much yeast, which result in a puffier, balloonish cake. Maybe you like it this way, and that's fine. But technically speaking, you should have used, I don't know, 200 grams of yeast, not 250. I don't know if that measurement is a little or a lot. I don't know cake. Well, I know how to eat cake, but I don't know how to make cake. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's jump into some examples here. Zealots of Stockholm, a minute 35. The HD600 sound a bit woolly here by comparison. Perhaps organic might be the right word to use. The DEVAs sound a bit more straightforward, kind of as if the note is actually playing off of like a metal sheet. And Yes, I am aware that this is essentially what a planar driver is. You don't need to tell me in the comment section, well, oh duh, that's what a planar driver is, it's a metal sheet. I know it's a metal sheet, shut the... In the sub-bass department, the Devas do have better bass extension and produce more rumble than the HD600s do. So yeah, but I mean, that is to be expected. Everybody knows, well, if you're an audiophile, you should know that HD600s are amazing, but bass is definitely not their strong suit. This is not their forte. Let's jump into the mids here. The Devas reproduce female vocals like a knife being sharpened. In my opinion, there definitely is such a thing as too forward. They also have a metallic timbre to them. In comparison, the vocals on the HD600 sound far smoother, while still having plenty of detail and separation from the rest of the instruments. I do hear this slight metallic twang in male vocals from the Devas too, but not by much. Actually, I feel that the male vocals pop out more on the Devas as opposed to the HD600s. So, generally speaking, the Devas do have an overall metallic timbre in the mids compared to the more smooth and natural sounding HD600s. And that applies to other instruments as well, you know, I was about to say trebles. Timbres? Trombone. There you go. Trombones, some trumpets, even though I know trumpet is a bit more treble-oriented. String instruments, yada yada. It generally speaking applies to all of those instruments as well. Now, as far as treble is concerned, an example, bangarang is a no-go on the Devas. It is definitely tolerable on the HD600s, and it is probably pretty much like the hottest I would ever listen to bangarang, the treble on these, or maybe the HD800s, but like it's up there, but it's still tolerable, and you can still enjoy listening to bangarang without feeling like they're just ripping your ears out. Now another example, and I know I haven't used this one a lot, but on Cowboys from Hell by Pantera, the cymbals are more forward on the Devas than on the HD600s, but are still listenable. I can at best call it a quirk. It's a preference thing. Honestly, it's more of a preference thing, but those S's are extremely sharp on the Devas. And as soon as I encountered the first ones, I just took them off like, nope, here you go, nope. Now the treble on the Devas sounds way more metallic than on the HD600s, by far. Extension? It doesn't matter. Don't listen to the Devas for treble heavy tracks. Plain and simple. Soundstage and imaging. So the Devas are definitely a wider headphone than the HD600s. As far as the imaging goes, the Devas do this kind of like weird behind the ear thing with pretty much all sounds that approach the listener's position. In City to City by Zomboy and featuring Bell Humble, they both track the sound within the first 12 seconds pretty well. However, I did hear it go behind me on the Devas rather than through me on the HD600s. Now, before we jump into the conclusion, I do have some notes and observations to point out here. Do note that you might want to get yourself an aftermarket cable with the Devas because their stock cable is it's way too stiff and it holds its shape far too well. I really can't. Now, on the other hand, the HD600s have what I consider to be the perfect cable. It's thin enough to feel lightweight and out of the way. It hardly holds its shape, making the utilization of the HD600s a very, very unobtrusive experience. And I know it's kind of controversial because many people in the comment section are like, you're dumb, this is one of the worst cables ever, it's not thick enough, it holds its shape too well. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And look, a little bit of a rant here. What sounds better to you? A thick cable that gets in the way, or a thin cable that feels like it has no cable at all? It makes sense, right? It makes sense. I'm not going crazy here, am I? I hope not. Anyways, let's just jump into the conclusion now. Look, I'll just give it to you straight. I love my HD600s. Many people love the timbre of the HD600s and the overall experience that you get with them. This is why they're still one of the best-selling headphones of all time, even though they were released like in 1997. They're still around, they're still in production, maybe replaced with a newer version, you know, that 2019 revision, but they're still around. Anyways, I despise the Devas. No, I'm not gonna listen to these. Even if HiFiMAN sponsored me, sent these out for review, and even paid me for the review, I would still crap on these. because no, I don't think anybody should buy the DEVAs. Now here's the thing though, I hate that I have to crap on these. I hate that I have to give it such a bad rap, because I think that this whole Bluetooth type of connectivity, you know, it's quite revolutionary. I do like it, and I think that many people could take advantage of this particular situation if it was executed properly, but it's just not. It's really not. It's not. Look, the DEVAs just sound way too incorrect and wonky to my ears. Their mids are not terrible, but their treble is just straight up unlistenable. It's, you know, on treble heavy tracks. The fact that the cable is one-sided makes it very uncomfortable for me to use, because it just, I don't know, it just kind of feels like it rubs around more against you way too often, as opposed to a straight cable that kind of like, you know, just fits better. It just does. So like I said, I can appreciate HiFiMAN's attempt to step out of the traditional ways and try something new with their designs. I think it's a brilliant plan, and I think they've got something there, but it's a flawed execution as far as the DEVAs are concerned. And I think HiFiMAN should take it back to the drawing board, but please take it back to the drawing board. Don't scrap the idea. You've got a good path going for you. You just need to take it back to the drawing board. So that's gonna end it for me. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and, you know, write down below, ask me any questions if you think if I missed something, if you have any particular questions regarding this pairing, my setup, whatever you want, go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and check out the Patreon. If you like what I do, you can become a patron and make it happen more often, because then I can actually afford all this stuff. And yeah, you know, thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped out your purchasing decision, and I'll see you all in the next one.